Pleasant good morning to you, one and all. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to this episode, this anniversary episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Welcome. Today is Friday, the 22nd day of November in the year 2024. Welcome, one and all. And today, more than any other day, I have to implore you to share, because, Friday, today is not the regular day for the program, but as I indicated to you on the last occasion we met in school, is that today, Friday the 22nd, is the third anniversary of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. So we felt obliged to come here today to bring you this special episode. I suspect many of the students who have not followed the instructions and subscribed to the channel, who have not followed the instructions to follow the page on Facebook, would not be aware of this special extra class today. So call a friend, tell a friend, let them know that Speaking Out is on today, Friday, the 22nd day of November. Share, and subscribe, as we say, and follow the page. My colleague, Mr. Conway, in the studio, raring to go. You want to come and do some batting, and we're gonna get an opportunity to. You'll get an opportunity to bat. Today is another wonderful day, another day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks to being in the land of the living. It's a privilege to have been allowed to get up this morning and to be on this program. So call a friend, tell a friend that we are on. And as you come on, give me a thumbs up. You know the thing, give us our special board anniversary, our anniversary thumbs up. So yes, here we are. And before we go forward, today is another good day. 21 more charges, man. Today, this morning, for those of you not aware, Mr. Assistant Commissioner of Police and Attorney at Law, Calvin Brutus, appeared in the Georgetown Magistrate Court this morning, 22nd day of Friday, 22nd day of November 2024. And he had to listen to 21 additional charges. I'm going to give you all the details a little later. All the details. The man with the most tests, the most bank account, the most money I suspect for any, he might have the most at that rank level, but people might get more than him. What you get? You get the most accounts, you get the most charges, you get the most property as a senior police officer, you get the most charges. The counting now as well. 252, 252, and perhaps counting. So I'm going to give you all the details a little later, but as I've said, share. Share, you need to share. Don't be selfish, share, because we have a lot to tell you about this morning. We have a lot to tell you. We keep saying that, but it's every time we come on, whether it's a regularly scheduled program or a extra program like today, we have so much, things are moving so rapidly. The contents are so many that we got to come and we got to bring them to your attention. We got to dissect all that is going on. We can analyze and let you know what is going on. And, as I've said, when the program was scheduled at 7 o'clock this morning, on the dot actually, and as to be expected, the students were outside the gate waiting to come into the schoolyard. So from the time the gate opened, they were in the schoolyard. And when the school door was open, now they are in the classroom, seeking to get all vantage points to listen to the information that will be passed on. They're out with the notebooks. I see some of them now, they're not bothering with notebook, they come with recorder. They're using the phone and other electronic devices to record what is going on. It's good, so you can play back at any time. And just in case you miss it, all the programs, all the 3-year programs that we have are on YouTube. So if you are a student who came into this arrangement a little late, you can go back in your own time on YouTube and listen to all the programs from November the 22nd, 2022, up to the last one we had there on Wednesday. And that would have been the 85th program for this year. That was on Wednesday. So today's the 86th program for this year. So yes, share. As is customary, we're going to run the roll call very quickly, and then we are going to delve into the information. So the first man in this morning well, several came in at the same time. Several persons came in at 7. Wayne from the UK. Then we had Kenneth from Maryland, Magnell, Tessa from Florida, Derek, Barlett from the Hills. Barlett, people say it's you caused this special program today, man. Big up yourself. They say you caused us to have this special program because you called for it. And we responded to the call. Bart came in at 7 as well. And then at 7:01, Sean, Carlton, and the list goes on. Lennox, Brendan, Monica, Brian, Aubrey. Then it was Rawl, Malcolm, Earl. Orin from the UK is here again. Mary from Brooklyn, she says. Courtney is from New Jersey. Then it was Danny, Pauline, Rohan Jawar is here with us, a loyal student. Richard, Leon from Brooklyn is here. Then it was Carl, Anthony from Peters Hall and the East Bank of Demerara. The original black man is here. Another Anthony is here with us. Rastaman, Ronna, then I'm still in the house. She's here. Jean, Jacko, Denise, Sheena, Brenda, Marcia, Claremont. There's Rhonda. This is the next Rhonda. Felicia, Charlene, Diane, Clarence, Arel, Wayne, Emerson, Clifton. Clifton is all the way from Paris. Then we have Ezzy, Harold, Salima. Mark is here with us. And Mark says he is from Reno, Nevada. Welcome, my brother. Winston is here. And Winston is from Maine, Catterley, Maine. There's three from Georgia. Then it was Dexter, Russ, Ricardo, Colin from New Jersey, Jakey from Maryland, Colin from Queens, Clive from the UK, Queenie is a Brooklyn girl, Ulrich, West Demerara, Crane, West Coast Demerara, Keith from Maryland, I think he is, yes, Marva, Ulrich, my squad mate, operating out of Barbados, Onika, Pamela, West Dem, the Conor Rookman, TK is from California, Ronald, then it's Tian, Audrey laughing all the time. Oh my Lord, Audrey can't stop celebrating. Michael, Vibot from the East Bank, Morton, Sandra, Bonita, then it's another Vibot, Neville, Raheem, Kerry enjoying himself in Guyana still, I think. Carl, then it is George, Richard, Princess All from Lamar Springs, Farina, Doreen, my squad mate from Canada, W349, Michael, then it is Loretta, after Loretta, William, Carl, my next squad mate, he's from Arizona, Ridley, the angel is here, Barbara, Annette, Fergus, Karen, Paul from Canada, Who Me is here with us, Rennie, Ainsworth, the Mark K, David, then it is Peter, Como 8218, Como Bars is with us. He's from New Jersey. Allison, Henrik, L. Ben is here with us. David, Albert. Then it is Northwest 9, Moses, followed by Theodore. Then it was Selwyn, David, Amanda. The next Vibot Smith, 7464. Gordon is here with us. Then it is Chilo, Vernon, Dion, Marlon, Marcus, John, Winston. Winston is from California. Orville, R. Crawford, he says his number is 11256. Then we have Woody, Cheryl, Corinne, Doris. Welcome, Doris. Welcome to the live. I know you're a regular listener, but good to see you making a comment. Woody is here. Janella, Gordon, Cheryl, Wilmont, Grantley, Melville, Dorette, Sherwin. Then it is Barbara. It is Wayne, Kevin, Claire, and Claire was the last person in the schoolyard when the school door opened. As is customary, the first man, it was Edward. He was followed by Gordon. Then we have Carlton, Popo, Vashti, and Stian, and Faye, and the list goes on and on, Kibran, and on and on and on. Yeah, so you can see the large number of students, notwithstanding the fact that it is not a regularly scheduled program, but people are here because you want to hear the valid information. You got to give me some more thumbs up. We have, what, over 600 on the live, and only, what, 40 thumbs up. Do something about that, Maumi. Tell them to do something about that. Now, in terms of the birthday greetings, today is the birth anniversary of retired woman, Detective Sergeant Bernadette Ralph. Her number was 210. She's celebrating our natal day today. Also celebrating our two students of us, Desmond Porcy. Desmond Helwick. Porcy is celebrating today. He told me today he is eligible for that old age pension. And then we have a student who's on, told us that his birthday is today too. I am referring to Lennox Anderson. Lennox is celebrating a birthday today. For all those who are celebrating today, all those who celebrated recently, all the best to you. I hope that God continue to bless you and keep you and make sure that you enjoy many, many, many more prosperous birthdays. Then we have one announcement. For the cricketers, you know, cricket in the air. I told y'all on Wednesday this test match between Australia and India promises to be a ding-dong battle. Well, I watched for the first session yesterday, and then I got up last night, rather. I got up and looked this morning. India all out for 150. India at Perth all out, batting for us, all out for 150. And Australia reeling at the end, 67 for 7. 67 for 7. So a total of 217 runs scored on the first day, and you had 17 wickets fell. 217 runs, 17 wickets. And when I look at it, I say, our boy doing better than them. Because they are 217, we by chalk up 252 this morning and counting 252. And the two teams so far have been able to make 217. And then we have, of course, a test match going on in Antigua, West Indies and Bangladesh. Well, last I looked, West Indies were, I think, 40-something for 2. The skipper, Craig Braffett, but all balls he choked over 4 runs or something like that. So those are things for us cricketers to follow. But I told you all about that test match between India and Australia. It is not going to be easy for either team. That wicket at Port, WACA, Western Australia Cricket Association, is supposed to be the bounciest and fastest wicket in the world. And yeah, the Indians are likely to struggle on it. But then England get people like Siraj, Bumrah, and all of those people going to come at you as well. And that is exactly what happened. Let me bring you Mr. Conway, and then we're going to talk a bit more. CC, welcome to this anniversary program, my brother. Welcome.
Good morning. Praise the Lord. We're in the land of the living. Happy anniversary to all of us. And we have lots of things to discuss. So let's get on with it.
Yeah, we have lots to discuss. Now, first, let me tell you something. We should tell about the program. We're saying it's the 3rd anniversary. I recall the first program was broadcast on the 22nd of November 2022. And we have been going strong. They have done everything to try to get us off the air. All sorts of sabotage we have had. All sorts of sabotage. But we have persevered. And here we are at the 3rd anniversary. And perhaps I should give you a little background to this thing, you know. The whole idea came about, let me tell you, because they tried to use this program against me in court in civil lawsuit and all this. They say that this program was specifically started to defame certain police officers. Not at all. Not at all. I went to court on the 15th of October 2021 to face criminal charges, 4 criminal charges. Well, when I went, I only knew about 1, but then I suddenly discovered there were 3 others. And if you recall the incident, when I turned up, this is matters filed, the conspiracy to commit fraud against myself, Mr. Kanye, and others, investigated and filed by SOCO. I was out of the country at the time. All this nonsense with you, Brutus talking, now I can tell you all something about it. I was charged, and I was never, ever, no allegation was ever put to me. Nobody ever asked me or put allegation to me and hear what I had to say. I was abroad working. At the time, I worked with Cricket West Indies as the security manager. So I was traveling all over the Caribbean and further field. Now, then they they served, Ramana applied for a summon and took it to my lawyer, Mr. Nigel Hughes, and left it there. That is not proper service. Well, anyhow, when it was brought to my attention, I said, look, I'm supposed to finish working sometime in the end of September. And once I know the next date, I will come to face the thing. So the thing came and said, the summons said that I have to appear in court the 15th of October, 2021. So I traveled to Guyana on the 13th of October for the sole purpose of attending court. When I arrived at the court on that morning, Georgetown Magistrate Court, Ramana, Duke, Singh, and Thomas Ransom Suku were there to arrest me for the same matter that they charged me for, and they got a summons for me to attend. So I told them, no, they don't work that way. You can't, you have no lawful authority to arrest me. And then Ramana, the man, he was at the time an assistant superintendent, the lead investigator at Suku. He told me that they were arresting me to read the caution after charge to me. I said, look, craziness here. And I explained on this program before, caution after charge is read most times at the station when the person is charged. Once the charge is read to you, they caution you to a caution after charge. It doesn't mean because they say caution after charge, any time after charge. And certainly after the matter has been filed in court. So they come, and then I think it was Thomas it is, taking out a piece of paper to attempt to read a caution after charge. I said, my God, we're in a bad way. Then Ramana, the man in charge of that party, when I asked for identification, because it was just after COVID, everybody got unmasked. The man had no identification to present. Then he sent one of the ranks to his car to bring this, to bring his identification. He told me, he asked if I believe he would come into the court compound to impersonate police. I said, that is not the point. The point is you're in civilian clothes and you're trying to arrest me. You don't have any authority to do so, and you have not identified yourself properly. It dawned on me then, because I said, if this is the senior investigator at Soku, don't know, first of all, they don't know the caution of the charge. First of all, they don't know the real powers of arrest, they can't arrest. I said, they need training. They need training. And as I have said before, prior to these shenanigans by them, I used to go to the training school and lecture on different subjects. Mr. Conway used to do the same to officers. But we now, you know, you're personal and grata. They don't want the knowledge. So I said, look, I have to find some means of passing on this knowledge. Because a lot of the knowledge that I got from in policing is at the expense of Guyanese taxpayers. So I felt an obligation to pass on back. So I said, let me start this program. And the intention when I started, you would have gone through different policing subjects and make sure that the ranks who want to learn are made to learn what is going on. But the thing has evolved. And I must say now that given the following now that this program has, I couldn't imagine in my wildest dream that this program would have become so popular. Everywhere you go, people tell you what's speaking out. They don't miss it. Either that work and they miss it, then they go back in the evenings or at some convenient time and they watch a program on YouTube. So it has been going from strength to strength. And then, as I indicated, I started it alone. And then I invited Mr. Conway to join me, and he readily agreed. And he has done so much to this program. Because as you would have seen, CC is a research man. CC is a training man. The most qualified person in Guyana to deal with police training. Most qualified. I say that without any fear of contradiction. He has been exposed to it. He has been doing it so much so, as I said before, he went on a program in Jamaica some years ago, and they actually asked for him to be seconded, and he was seconded to the Jamaican Constabulary Training School to train policemen, right? So he is that qualified in this regard. So I invited him, and he came, and as you all know, he has been a regular fixture on this program ever since. And we will continue. We will continue this program, notwithstanding all that they have been trying to do. They try to block you. They try to sabotage the program. They do all they want to do. And why? I have said 3 years and counting. Let them point out one thing that we said that is wrong. Let them point out one. And we got to compliment ourselves because of many of the things that I discussed on this program. Force them to implement certain actions. I remember, I think it was last year or all this year, remember, with the Spanish word policia, on the vehicles. We spoke out about it repeatedly. We spoke out. We said, what nonsense you put in Spanish in police station and on police vehicle. Then you heard the vice president said it was a mistake and they were ordered to remove it. And then he said that they were going to put it in small writing and so on. We said nonsense, it should not be there at all. And if you look now, I don't think those words are there to remove it. Earlier this year, when this scandal broke about Brutus depositing $16.5 million at the police credit union, an attempt what we feel was money laundering. We talked about it, and they deny. They jump around. You can say no money laundering, and start to deny. And we kept, because we had the evidence. We still have it. And we kept talking about it. We kept talking about it. We kept talking. And then watch. Now I think Brutus, people say Brutus blaming us for all the woes. He ain't blaming himself for getting involved in all of these alleged illegal activities. But because Slow and Conway keep highlighting it, you now get 252 charges. So we will continue to highlight these things. And we will continue to use this platform to teach those who want to learn, because we are aware that they listen. And even if they don't want to admit it, many of the things they do, you can see it as a result of what we have said. Look, only recently, Wednesday, we spoke about the carnage on the road. We spoke about it. We identified certain things. Yesterday, the president had big thing to the one of them meetings. I don't think it was 5:30, but they had a meeting with some of the senior police officers. We will continue to highlight these things. And maybe we're going to get to the stage now, we're going to ask them for pay we consultancy fee, you know. When the last we got paid, they're charging for conspiracy. Well, we're doing the work for them. We are highlighting these things and we are doing the work for them. But perhaps we're doing it as a public service, as a service to the Guyanese public, because we are patriotic Guyanese. We both served in the police force for a number of years, and left, notwithstanding what Michael Young from the Volkswagen company in Germany said, that still is a disgrace for our police officer. Disgrace where? Disgrace where? If I disgrace, what happened to people like Brutus and all of them? Right? What happened to them? So yeah, we're going to continue. And again, I have to thank you, the students, for your support. Because without you, I don't believe we would have been able to be as successful as we are. Now let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to go into some of the things. CC, happy anniversary to Speaking Out.
Many happy return. Happy anniversary to all of us. Paul, as you mentioned, the reasons why you started the program, I think it was a blessing in disguise. Thank God had inspired you. And also, I can remember you asked me to be on the program, specifically to deal with training in the first instance. And then afterwards, you say, come on back. Let me work together. You know, and since then we've been working together, and we've been also inspiring a whole lot of police, senior men, junior men. Also the police have been inspired by our program. We're not really training them. We've been inspiring them. I remember years ago, you know, on Hard Talk, a guy was interviewing Bob Marley, and he wanted to belittle Bob Marley, and he said, "Brother Bob, where you get your education from? Did you go to high school? Did you go to the university? Did you go to the Mono campus?" And Bob Marley said, "A proper question, man. I man like the question, man. I man get education. I man get inspiration. If I man the education, I man would be a stupid man. Jah Rastafari hail Selassie I." So you have been inspired, Paul, inspired by the Lord to do this program, and the work of the Lord will continue. And we've seen a whole lot of positive things coming out of this program. So congratulations to ourselves.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. Thank you to all the students who are here congratulating us. And as I've said, it could not have happened without you, because when I see the numbers, because right now, watch, we have close to 1,000 people on the live, even though it is not a regularly scheduled program. And again, I say share the live so that more people can come on. And we are going to continue to come to identify a lot of these things, especially as the name of the program is, we're going to focus on corruption and incompetence. Because in every sphere of life in Guyana, there is corruption. Every area, all the ministries, every walk of life, there is corruption. Every area there is incompetence, not only in the police force, all over. incompetence. So we're going to keep pointing it out. We are going to keep pointing out corruption. We're going to keep pointing out incompetence. And so before I move on to say this, about a year ago, perhaps even less, the word corruption, when you talk about corruption in Guyana, especially when you raise it with the vice president and other members in the government, their response used to be, bring the evidence. You must bring the evidence. There's no evidence about corruption. All of a sudden now, they're not saying that any longer. We have been pointing out. And we said here, and I said it before, that's not the way it works. If an allegation is made, a credible allegation, like this Sugate allegation, where it is alleged that the vice president takes 500,000 US some Chinese businessmen to enter into contracts and so on, or to give them deals and so on. When allegations are made, you have got to investigate to find the evidence. You can't ask the people who are making the allegation to provide evidence. That's not the way it works. There's a credible allegation. You investigate. You either get evidence to support or it is debunked. But that is what they used to say. That was used to do with the mantra. Then all of a sudden, the U.S. Treasury Department sanctioned the Mohammeds and the PS at the Ministry of Home Affairs. And the tune changed now. The tunes changed. I mean, the thing was so ridiculous that the Speaker of the National Assembly, the man who wore an old red suit yesterday or day before yesterday when they met with the Indian Prime Minister, Manzoor Nadir, the man banned the word corruption from being used in Parliament. He banned parliamentarians can't use the word corruption in Parliament. That is what was reported. That is how bad it was. In the face of all the glaring corrupt acts, the Speaker said must use corruption in Parliament. So he can't stop me from using corruption in this program. He can't stop me from producing evidence of corruption on this program. So that's what we're doing. That sue me. And let me say this. Some things I'm not at liberty to go into until now, because the civil lawsuits and those things, the criminal charges, some of them are still pending before the court. It would be wrong of me to go into details. But the time will come, continue to come to class and stay tuned. I have never, ever said anything on this program that is not truthful. I make sure there are lots of things that I hear, but I don't talk about it because I can't verify whether it is so or not. So when I come and I tell you all something, it's because the verification was done. The verification was done. When I talk about the 16.5 that it denied, the evidence is there, the receipt is there. And we knew about it long before we came openly because we had to verify these things. We're not going to be reckless, right? So let me understand that. Now moving on. It was last week, I think it was. They had this launching of the Christmas activity policing. The police, Georgetown in particular, and other towns and areas and so on. And I saw something the other day, which I have always been worried about. Policemen on beat, they're around the place. They're just there making up in time, just killing the time. They're not alert. They're not pay attention to the surrounding and to things. Let me show you an example of what I mean. Look, this is a photograph posted yesterday. These are two who look like young policemen. It looked like there's somewhere, you see Battery Road, so that's somewhere by the Pegasus area. I suspect that they are in duty there in relation to this state visit. And look, both of them that we see, cell phone. Both of them concentrating on the cell phone. So all sort of things can be going on around them. They're not concerned. Their own lives can be in danger because they're not alert, they're not paying attention. If you see traffic ranks on the road, cell phone directing traffic, some of them find all kind of innovative ways to get the phone. They stick it in the helmet, they do all sort of things. That is what you have in the police force. That is what is going on. What purpose are they serving? They stand up there and they're up on the cell phone. And I have said, and people have complained, oh, they maybe got to communicate. No. Police don't communicate officially by cell phones. You have to give them radio sets. Radio sets, what we used to call bantam sets in the day. Two-way, somebody got a walkie-talkie. That is what they have to go on duty with. Not sit down, stand up at the place. They're there on the telephone, and they're distracted, and therefore anything can happen around them, and they're not going to know. It's a disgrace. And look, the area where they are in the Battery Road, you see the sign up there, Battery Road. That means this is Kingston, Pegasus area. All type of dignitaries dignitaries and people around the area, and that is what you have. Somebody took on the page. There's 2 pictures that I have there. People took it out and posted it on social media, and I screen grab it and for them to see. Because when you talk about these things, they will deny. They will say it's not true. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I say, look at there. Look at there. One on the pocket, they stand up there. So again, sometimes you don't blame them. It's the training. What training they have? What type of supervision are they getting? You know, this cell phone thing is such a problem now that back when we were asked to do the standing order revision, the same standing order, the charge we said we didn't revise and we collect. The 5 of us collected 10 point something million to do. We did a special standing order dealing with electronic devices, including laptop, computer, cell phones. We had, because that was in the wake of this incident with, I think, Tina and Mona, 2 Indian women in the police station in Borbies, where the thing went viral. They're in the station, they're cussing up, and all the police don't take out. They made a video and they posted it on social media and so on. And we said, look, we need to do a standing order, because there was never a standing order dealing with the use of cell phones, electronic devices, and so on. We put together a standing order. I remember it was Christmas Eve day, might have been 2019. I took it to the then Commissioner, Leslie James, and I said, this thing is urgent. The executive leadership team should review and try to have it implemented. I'm not aware that anything done. So up to now, you get people all over the place, policemen on duty, cell phone, they're more concerned with the cell phone. Let me bring in Mr. Connery, because he did training and he knows what I'm talking about. He knows what we're looking at there. See your comments, please.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember when we took pains and we designed that SOP to deal with cell phones and other electronic equipment. But coming back to that picture there, they started what they call Christmas policing. And that was a thing introduced by Larry Lewis over 30 something years ago. And they continue to do the same thing. Then do no analysis. Nobody analyzing thing. You start in the 15th of November to the 15th of January. By time Christmas time, some of them done born out already. And then you send those persons you see there, those are raw recruits. No real kind of training. Maybe they send them really to make up number, send them to a division for the Christmas period. They got to get proper training. I remember I produced a book, Hints to Patrol Duty, telling you all those things, what you have to do when you're in patrol, when you're on duty, hints to patrol duty. I still have a copy. If they approach me, I will make a copy available to them, that they got to be trained before they go on the road, especially if they're doing specifically patrol duty. But no, they just say, take them and send them on the road, and there's no proper briefing, no debriefing. And if you look at them, they're ganging up. They pass on the road, I see eight of them near to a rubbish heap. I was tempted to take out the photograph, but I'm bored. I'm going to say, hey, yeah, watch where you are, stand up. 8 of y'all near to a rubbish heap outside the high court. I don't know what was really going on. But saying, if you're going to get them to do patrol duty, you need to train them. You need to train them properly. But they say this Christmas policing, what they do now. I mean, you're seeing police on the road, yes, but then is it effective? Are they evaluating? Are they analyzing what's going on? And nothing. Year come, year go, the same damn thing. Christmas policing, 15th of November to 15th of January.
Yeah, and apart from the training, which is important too, they have to be supervised. As you pointed out, these people look like recruits. They got to be supervised. Who is posting them on duty? Do they check to see that they don't have cell phones and all this stuff? Is there a standing order saying that should not be going and be duty with cell phone? There should be such a standing order. Give them radios, teach them to use radios, and let them go on duty with handheld radios. But man, go on there with cell phone and they're texting or they're watching some movie. That is what is going on there. And you have, apart from the training, you got to get supervision. Who visits these people? You make sure that when they're posted on duty, they are briefed properly, including to ensure that perhaps you get an order that should not be going and be duty with cell phones. And you make sure that they are visited regularly. Do they have pocketbooks so the people can visit them and write in the pocketbook? All of these things are basic things that you have to look at. But when you have the type of management that you have, people who don't know the A's from the ass, they just sit in these offices, call themselves senior officers, and they don't have a clue as to what is going on. They don't have the clue. And I've said repeatedly, the problem, one of the major problems with the Guyana police force currently is lack of leadership. And we see that in the Brutus case. They sit down there, they're scheming and they're hustling. They get sandpit, they get resort, they get all type of business. And I said this, and in Brutus's action letter that he sent to me, the pre-action letter, he claimed that I said that the police work for them is a side hustle. And I maintain it. Because look at the case, the allegations against Brutus. The man got big business, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of business. So therefore, the police work got to be the secondary work. The police work is a side hustle. Them $100 million business you get, they got to be the main hustle. And the police work is a side hustle. I said so, and I'm repeating it because the evidence is now coming forth. $500 million in bank and $300 million in property and all this other thing. You tell me that will take, the police force will take priority over that? No. Police is not going to take priority over that. That is the main thing. The police work is a side hustle. That is what I said, and I'm repeating that. So here you have, again, it's lack of leadership. You get the extended squatter there, you ain't got a clue what's going on. Not a clue he has, but they like it so. That they like it so is they put it there. He passed retirement age, they're keeping it. Gail Teixeira said he's performing excellently. Gail Teixeira said so. Gail Teixeira said she write to Aubrey North. I'm not going to repeat it frequently for those of you who have heard it before. Bear with me. She said, I am to inform you, this is a letter from Gail Teixeira, the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance. She's writing to the leader of the opposition. And in the last paragraph of the letter, she says, I am to inform you that in the circumstances, having considered your contentions and upon weighing same against the accomplishments of the Guyana Police Force under the superintendence of Mr. Ikin, including the significant decrease in serious crimes, improved public confidence in the force, the overall enhanced performance of the force, and in particular, the performance of Mr. Ikin, His Excellency has concluded that it's in the public interest and in the interest of national security that Mr. Ikin be appointed Commissioner of Police. This is a letter dated the 2nd of October, 2024. And this is what we're seeing around the place. That is what we are seeing around the place. Incompetence. Incompetence. Peter Principle. They pitchfork them into these positions, and that is what you have. Imagine this, Imagine this. Calvin Brutus, Assistant Commissioner Attorney at Law, who was the de facto second in command. As the admin man, second in command at the force. Because he said too that the police office commissioner gives seniority over all the other assistant commissioners. As of today, the 22nd day of November 2024, 252 criminal charges. 252 criminal charges filed against him. Let me ask Mr. Carl if you want to see anything more on this before we move on. See anything more you want to see on this?
Yeah, I see you had posted something there, I think this morning, relation to the charges. I think it's a CB 5252.
Oh yeah, last night I said, no, well, it's a whole motorcycle number, motorcycle number. And then somebody told me, one of the fans told me that she had a P50 back in the 70s, and the P50 number was CB258. So I remember a CB252. So that's a reminder. CB252. And I said, karma is a bitch, right? Karma is a bitch. Yeah.
And you mentioned about side hustles, and I agree with you. And I remember reading the Bible, and the Bible says, where a man treasure his heart is. Where a man treasure his heart is. And I wouldn't say anything more than that.
Well, the treasure there, that is where you are there. The treasure can't be in the police force. The police force is used as a vehicle to make sure that they enrich themselves. That is what is going on. And we're going to talk more about it. But let me move on to this, another damning some on social media, HGP 19 News 2 days ago. And let me read it what it says here. It says there is more than enough evidence that a senior policeman who was stationed in Region 1 helped drug traffickers smuggle several pounds of cocaine into Guyana over a 3-year period. According to a report, the senior cop allowed smugglers, especially those from the Colombian cartel, to land planes on an illegal airstrip in Region 1, offload tons of cocaine, and then place them in makeshift bunkers. Further investigation has revealed that the officer escorted drug smugglers with vehicles loaded with cocaine. Let me read back. Let me repeat that, what they're saying. This is what is carried in the social media. Further investigation has revealed that the officer escorted drug smugglers' vehicles with drug smugglers with vehicles loaded with cocaine. The senior cop, whose U.S. visa has since been revoked, was paid millions of dollars for facilitating the flow of drugs in that region. And then there's a quotation here to say, we have found that the officer hid behind his badge and engaged in transnational criminal activity. He is corrupt and will be brought to justice, end of quote. A damning report has revealed. The report found that Guyana remains a principal major drug trafficking hub for Colombian cocaine. The drug route enters Guyana via the northeastern Venezuelan state with protection from corrupt Venezuelan military. With the help of the DEA, 4.4 tons of cocaine had been found in 4 makeshift bunkers about 30 minutes from an illegal airstrip in Region 1 on September the 1st, 2024. So this is saying, according to this HGP breaking news, that a senior police officer, right, they said there is more than enough evidence that a senior police officer who was stationed in Region 1 helped drug traffickers smuggle several pounds of cocaine into Guyana over a 3-year period. That is what this is saying. And the thing was there because police, I don't know if they're referring to the commander there, but we know that the commander there, Senior Superintendent Shah, was removed from that region and put to the transport workshop. They never explained why he was transferred, but in the wake of this big 4.4 ton cocaine, he was removed. So one is led to believe that his removal had something to do with that. That is what he was put in the transport workshop. He took over from a cadet officer. And we don't know where he is now. But the thing goes on to say that is the senior cop whose United States visa has since been revoked was paid millions of dollars for facilitating it. And then they're quoting somebody, this article is quoting someone and saying, we have found that the officer hid behind his badge and engaged in transnational criminal activity. He is corrupt and will be brought to justice. He is corrupt and will be brought to justice. Wonder by whom? Wonder by whom? Who will bring him to justice and when? Let's wait and see. This is the force that Gail Teixeira sought public confidence in. Gail Teixeira, and as I've said before, the Surgeon General warned about the use of tobacco. A boy didn't say everything. Because this seems to be, the thing that Gail Teixeira said that I read before, seems to be someone who lives on another planet. Who lives on another planet. Let me bring him Mr. Conway to talk about this senior officer who the people say involved in this drug running week and so should face justice. What do you think, says CC? They say his visa was revoked and he is corrupt and will be brought to justice. He will be brought to justice. I'm wondering by whom and when. CC?
Well, they didn't mention any name, but this thing, when you really analyze it, is remember it was as part of the Indianizing of the commands of the Guyana Police Force. Part of the Indianizing of the command of the police force. They take certain officers and put them in command when they were incompetent. And I'm going to make a bold statement because I know well, and I'm not saying that SAR is involved in drug runnings. The report we got is that he was fingered. I'm not saying he's a thing and he's innocent until proven guilty. SAR, born in the special branch. He neighbor Stringberry there. He grew up there. He turned senior superintendent there. He never had any experience working in division. None whatsoever. He never sit down at a station and take a statement or take any report from somebody. And there are others too, right? And you take him and you last him away in region number 1, where you hardly get any crime there. So man sit down there, and the temptation would there to be mischievous, to do things you get no policing for do. So you do other things. And I'm not saying, I'm repeating myself, I'm not saying that he was involved in drug runnings. All I heard that he was fingered, and then you move him from region 1 and you carry me in charge of the transport workshop. So this thing where they Indianizing the command of the police force is gonna backfire. It's gonna backfire, and I think this is one in the case. And let me repeat again, that Shah is innocent of anything until proven guilty. Well, he hasn't been charged for anything, but the fact is that there are allegations that he has been fingered, and are saying you take it from special branch and you throw it to do operational work where you had none experience whatsoever. What do you expect to happen? A man sit down at my room there, you got nothing to do, and you find yourself in a whole lot of mischief. I've been there. I spent a number of years there. You know, I got my first promotion down there, but I worked for the first promotion down there.
The devil, they said the devil has find works for idle hands to do. Them what people tell me now. The devil finds work for idle hands to do. And again, allegations need to be investigated, but these things are damning. And what they're doing, they're shrugging it off. They believe it can blow away. It's not going to blow away like that, because when this report is saying that the police officer, senior police officer, they didn't name, but they said the thing started by saying that a senior police officer who was stationed in Region 1. Who was stationed? We know the man was stationed there. I'm not aware of any other senior police officer who was stationed there. And let me say, when we talk about senior police officer from the police force, a senior officer is from a superintendent, from the rank of a superintendent up. I mean, the civilians will call a sergeant and an inspector. Those people are not senior officers. A senior officer in the Guyana police force is from the rank of superintendent all the way to commissioner. The junior officers are cadet officer to deputy superintendent. And then you have inspectors and them senior subordinate officers, sergeant, inspector, and the junior subordinate officers, lance corporal, corporal. So when I talk about the senior officers, I'm not sure if they're using the police vernacular or if they're using civilian, because when civilian talk about senior, a sergeant for them is a senior officer. And we know in the police, a sergeant is not a senior police officer. He's a senior subordinate officer. So this is what is being said. And you're not hearing anything. We're not hearing anything. But interestingly, this thing says that he uses badge and engage in transnational criminal activity. He is corrupt and will be brought to justice. That is what I'm waiting for. He will be brought to justice. By whom? Who bringing it to justice? Because I'm not aware that there's any investigation going on in Guyana in relation to this senior or any other senior police officer in relation to the drug that was found in Region 1. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, CC, sometime last week, we got word that the state was ordered to pay $24 million for the unlawful killing of Quindon Baccus. And there's a news article here in Starbuck News, dated the 15th. That's last week, Friday. And I'm going to go through aspect of it very quickly so people can get the gist of what we are speaking about. They said, Justice Nigel Niles on Wednesday ordered the state to pay $24 million for the unlawful killing of Quindon Baccus by plainclothes ranks on June the 10th, 2022 at Haslington, East Coast, Demerara. The ruling came Listen to this carefully. The ruling came after the state quietly accepted liability for the killing in July this year. So the state accepted liability in July, and then the judge ruled. It goes on to say Justice Niles ordered the state to pay $24 million to the mother. The mother was represented by attorney Dexter Smart and Dexter Todd. Attorneys Dexter Smart and Dexter Todd. A release from Todd's office yesterday said that the mother of Baccus, on behalf of the estate of Baccus, filed an action against the state for the unlawful killing of her son. This action was filed by Dexter Todd and Associates. The release from Todd's office said that the state force defended the action, denying liability for the killing and claiming that Baccus died during an authorized police undercover operation while he was attempting to illegally sell firearms. However, by letter dated 24th of July 2024, the Office of the Attorney General wrote to the attorneys for Baccus's mother, as well as the judge, indicating that the state had accepted liability for the shooting and requested that the court make a decision on the quantum of damages to be granted to the estate of the deceased. The release said that the court invited submissions from both sides and subsequently made its decision. The judge found that the killing of Baccus breached his rights to life as protected under the Constitution of Guyana. The court said that it looked at recent matters of similar nature and considered the settlement and judgment amount in those matters before making its own decision in this case. The court ordered the state to pay to the estate of Baccus a sum of $1 million for his funeral expenses, $22.5 million as damages for the breach of his rights of life, and $500 in costs. That brought the total to $24 million. And then I go on to tell you what happened to Baccus when he was shot and killed, because it said Baccus, a 25-year-old father of one, lived at Golden Grove, East Coast, Demerara. On the 10th of June 2022, he was gunned down by the police at Aslington. The release noted that the incident was first described as an undercover sting operation by the Guyana Police Force, which led to a shootout between Baccus and members of the Guyana Police Force. The force claimed that Baccus was going to sell an undercover officer an unlicensed firearm. The police revealed themselves to him, and he thereafter ran and started firing shots at the police. The police claimed that they subsequently returned fire, hitting him, and he succumbed to those injuries. Here what you go on to say. Hey, listen to this part carefully. However, investigations revealed that there was no authorized police operation in that area and no police commander was aware of such. Further, examination of the firearm allegedly recovered at the scene revealed that the firearm the police claimed Baccus used to shoot at them was inoperable and could not have been fired by him. There was also no civilian witnesses who saw Baccus fire at the police, the release stated. As a result of the incident and investigation of the police, several police officers were placed under close arrest by the Guyana Police Force. One of those officers, Lance Corporal Christophe Dinabraga, was charged with the murder of Baccus. He was remanded to prison and has since been committed to stand trial at the High Court. Two other officers, McLennan and Simon, were charged with attempt to obstruct the court of justice. Simon was also charged with an offense of conduct to the prejudice of good order and discipline. The chief magistrate read the charge, and they were to the police officers during a virtual hearing. During the court proceedings, police prosecutor Neville Jeffers disclosed that the investigation which was launched into the shooting revealed that the firearm which Baccus had was not in working condition. And then it goes on to say the postmortem noted that Baccus died from multiple gunshot wounds. Dr. Singh, in the postmortem report, revealed that Baccus sustained 6 gunshot wounds. Also confirmed that he was shot 5 times to the back and once to the chest. And it goes on and it goes on. The state now is the action of the police. One man charged a murder. One man charged the several perverted the course of justice and some other charge. And the thing about this matter, let me tell you this, because I followed this matter very closely. I even attended the funeral of Baccus, right? This is an operation that was said led by special branch ranks. We talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it again. Special branch ranks said they get information that this deceased boy Baccus gets some illegal firearm to sell. So they mounted an operation. They get CID ranks and all that. And the strange thing is that special branch ranks were involved in the execution of the operation. That is not the way the special branch operates. Even if the special branch went there and they gather intelligence about this, normally things handed over to CID ranks and uniform ranks, because the special branch people are supposed to be the undercover people. And therefore, you don't want them get involved in an operation so that the covers are revealed, so they have to go to court and give evidence. You don't want that. So once they give you the intelligence and so on, you form the you operation, CID ranks and uniform ranks will execute the operation. But not so in this case. The special branch rank, because the man who is charged with the murder is a special branch rank. The other two ranks who are charged are special branch ranks. So again, it's a question of leadership. And the thing about this matter, they named the three persons charged, the Nabriga, Simon, and McLennan. And there were other ranks there, other ranks who are not charged, who are deeply involved in this operation. And people are saying that the ranks who are not charged are of East Indian descent. That is what it is said. The ranks who were not charged are of East Indian descent. And the ranks who are charged, African descent. One man, in the case of McLennan, he ended no way about there. He was never at the scene. The evidence said so. And they end up charging with some trumped up nonsense. And until now, they appeared in court on the first time on the 22nd, on the 5th of July 2022. 5th of July 2020, over 2 years ago. Yeah, the report says that the man who has been charged with murder, the Nabriga, he has been committed to some trial at the High Court. But the other two up to now, the running and the running and the running, can't have the matter determined. Can't have. And as I've said before, the very day they appear in court, on the 5th of July 2022, the extended squatter, Clifton Akin, the acting commissioner, dismissed them unconstitutionally. So they were not afforded the presumption of innocence. They dismissed them the same day. And they got Brutus and Kevin George, Brutus driver, appeared in court on several charges on the 24th of October. And up to now, they didn't even interdict them, not dismiss. I'm not advocating for dismissal because that would be unconstitutional. But they have not been interdicted on today like today. Brutus facing 252 criminal charges at the Police Service Commission in Tidikiyat. Kevin George, the sergeant who was Brutus driver, charged jointly with him. Up to now, they transferred somewhere West Demerara. He's still a police, full police in uniform, working. And this is what we have. So the Indians who were involved in this killing of Quindon Baccus, they were not charged. And then you're going to hear they're going to complain to the Ethnic Relations Commission, so we preach and raise. It's facts. These are facts. At least 2 Indian officers who are there. And then this thing says too, the same report, this says, that the operation was not an authorized operation. If you say the investigator revealed that there was no authorized police operation in the area and no police commander was aware of it. And you had senior ranks from special branch who were involved. So how are they not liable? An unauthorized operation based on what they said, leading to the death of this young man. The 3 Afro who were involved charged. The Indians who were there not charged. And when you talk about this thing, they say you're creating disaffection and you're preaching racism. That racism is facts. That is the facts. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to think in this matter. See, the $24 billion, I got to talk some more about it. But what are you saying, my friend?
Let me broaden the thing a bit, This thing, the right to life, is enshrined in the Constitution of Guyana. I'm going to go to it. And the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Nobody is above the Constitution. Nobody. Even the president is a creature of the Constitution. And even the president and all breaches the Constitution, there are provisions where the president could be removed from office. I'll go into that later on. Now, Bacchus died as a result of, what they say, an unauthorized special branch of operation. Shot, according to the post-mortem report, shot 5 times in his back and 1 in his stomach. Understand, one of the guys who's charged has been committed to stand trial. But let's look at the Constitution a bit, And it's talk about the protection of fundamental rights and freedom of individuals. Article 138 to 154. And this should be taught to all the police, from the commissioner right down. Protection of fundamental rights and freedom of individual. It's here in the Constitution. Protection of right of life, protection of right to personal property, protection of inhuman treatment, protection of freedom of movement, which we'll come to later on. And here what it said about the protection of life. Just bear me a bit, let me see. Okay, let me just get it there. It said, Article 138, no person shall be deprived of his or her life intentionally, save in execution of the sentence of a court in respect of an offense under the laws of Guyana to which he or she has been convicted. Let me repeat. No person shall be deprived of his or her life intentionally, save in the execution of his sentence of a court in respect of an offense under the laws of Guyana to which he or she has been convicted. So, person get a right to live, and you can't go down and just take on a person's life like that. That's why I'm happy that the court has ordered has ordered the state to pay to the estate of Baccus, I think $24 million. Although I feel the figure is far too low. But it's high time that people start going to court and challenging the killing of persons. Persons get a right to live, a right to life under the Constitution. And we're getting too many executions by police, too many extrajudicial killings. So I'm happy that the estate of Baccus will benefit. All right, and for the matter, I'm happy too that the Attorney General chopped in. They say, yeah, this thing was unconstitutional. This thing in the killing of Baccus wasn't the right thing for the police to do. And they chuck in and they ask the state to decide the quantum of compensation that the family, the estate will think. So they happy about it. And the whole Baccus thing was, where special branch you mentioned involved in this thing. But the thing is that the bottom line is that they want to show up one another. The senior command, they want to show up each other. Hey, the general duty people can't do it. The CID people can't do it. So I gonna get my men and do it. And then is when they get a men and do it, and then they do screw up. We even remember the 80-something wrongs that they shoot up on a police sergeant carrying an arc and the thing there, where the role of the special branch came into question, where instead of them doing the undercover work, they're coming up openly and doing work. Remember when during the Quindon Baccus thing, the head of the special branch was there leading a riot unit. On East Coast, the head of the special branch was there reading a riot unit. when they're supposed to be underground, undercover, in a corner, peeping and see whether the police doing the right thing, and reporting elsewhere. So I'm happy that with the decision of the Quindon Baccus murder, only thing, I feel that the compensation should have been far higher than what the judge had awarded.
Yeah, well, let me say this. There are circumstances under which armed policemen, are authorized to use deadly fire. It is clear. So don't run away with the idea we say that policemen can't shoot and policemen can't kill people. There are circumstances. The standing order is there. The laws are there, where you can justify the use of deadly force. But we're saying that the ranks have to be properly trained and they have to know when to use deadly force. And the other question that came up here is the price. We now know, it seems to be suggesting what the price of a life is. Because in the Madja case, where those children died in the fire, I think the state paid each parent $5 million. That was the value of the life of those indigenous children, $5 million. In this case now, it is $24 million the state will pay. So juxtapose this with a civil lawsuit. Civil lawsuit where the court held that a person defamed a senior police officer. $10 million is ordered. $10 million is ordered in a civil lawsuit where no life is lost. People claim damage to reputation and all that. $10 million. And the lives of those indigenous children in Madja, $5 million. In this case, Quindon Baccus, $24 million they have to pay. So something is wrong. Something is wrong in the old system. And as somebody said, the minimum amount should have been paid was something like, somebody said 100 million, somebody said 500 million. The life of a young man, 25-year-old man, as a child, and all of that. I know this issue came up at the United Nations. The issue came up at the United Nations. And they said on March the 19th this year, Baccus' death was one of the number raised at the UN Human Rights Commission in Geneva, Switzerland. And the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, Gail Teixeira, answered questions posed on this case and others. And she said, a question was asked about the Quindon Baccus killing by the police. The police officer was arrested and charged. He has also been dismissed from the Guyana Police Force. These steps show he was not acting in accordance with the police practice and protocols. The prosecution is ongoing of the officers. As I said, there are many questions that I have missed, but we're open to answer and follow up. End the quote. So here what Gail Teixeira is saying, when asked in Geneva by the people in Geneva, Switzerland, about the Quindon Baccus and other killings by the police. She said the police officer was arrested and charged. And then here what she said, he was also dismissed from the force. Gail Teixeira admitted that he was dismissed. So there's no presumption of innocence. There's no presumption. You see, these people go and they talk and they reveal what we have all been saying, and then they want to blame Sloan Connery. This is Gail Teixeira responding to United Nations when questions was asked about Quindon Baccus' killing and other killings. She said the man arrested, the Quindon Baccus killing by police. The police officer was arrested and charged. That's what she's reported as saying. And this is Stabrook News on the 15th of November this year. And then she goes on to say, he is also being dismissed from the Guyana Police Force. He has also been dismissed from the Guyana Police Force. So she's admitting that he was not afforded the constitutionally guaranteed presumption of innocence. He's not guaranteed that. And these are the people who get run in the country. Incompetent people. She's admitting that to the United Nations body, that they violated the man's constitutional right. Because even though he is charged with murder and any other offense, there should be the Constitution guarantees a presumption of innocence. So Quindon Baccus, like Calvin Brutus, they're all presumed innocent until proven guilty by a competent court of law. But not according to Gail Teixeira, in our response to the United Nations, he has been dismissed. That is what she said. And I tell you over and over, let them talk. When they talk, we're going to analyze the statements and bring it to you. We're going to dissect it and show you how they're skinning up themselves. A matter of fact, when you say skin up with certain people, that doesn't conjure up a pleasant sight. Does not. But that is what is going on. That, and again, I say, let them talk. Let them get the press conferences. Let them get a 4-day morning talk. When you analyze it, you see how incompetent these people are. You see how incompetent they are. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on to something else. See, the sheriff said, telling the United Nations that the policeman was arrested and charged, and he was also dismissed. So there's no presumption of innocence.
I remember I heard her clearly, no presumption of innocence. And you mentioned before several times that same day they appear in front of court, same day they get dismissed. And we have persons who they can't even interdict. You got a sergeant with so much charges and he cannot be interdicted. We got Brutus, CB 250 something, 252 or whatever, and the Police Service Commission can't even interdict him. What will really be saying? But they could dismiss people who they use when they have an illegal operation, and they dismiss person charge, and then on the one hand, and then on the same hand they dismiss him. And persons who have been charged 200 how much charges cannot be interdicted. A sergeant who's a driver, perhaps the drivers get privilege, because Brutus driver perhaps he get privilege that he cannot be interdicted, and is a spotter to interdict him. But then again, we had precedent before where a man who used to drive the squad, Roop, he was charged and he wasn't interdicted. So like if you're a driver, you have special privilege. Perhaps if you're a driver, you have a lot of secrets of people. Maybe the drivers are carrying secrets, so they're special and they cannot be interdicted or charged.
Yeah, they're special and they can't be interdicted or charged. And as you talk about drivers, let me say this, because we reported on this before. You alluded to it earlier, where sometime it was this year, I think it was early this year, there was this operation again by Special Branch Ranks, where they said they received information about a robbery at Brutus, and a car fitting the description of the getaway car was spotted somewhere in the East Bank. And in an attempt to stop the car, they fired 88 shots at the car. 88 bullets. It turned out it was a police sergeant, a traffic sergeant. The man drove to Providence Police Station, and then it was revealed that this Special Branch Ranks fired 88 shots. They knocked the car, they knocked the man, so people said it was the firing blanks. Luckily, we talked about it here, and what happened? We understand that some of the ranks were transferred, and the file was they said OPR would investigate. That is the Office of Professional Responsibility. A report was sent, they say, to the Director of Public Prosecutions. And I understand that the Director of Public Prosecutions recommended departmental charges against the five ranks. Departmental charges against the 5 ranks. And Mr. Conway talking about driver. I understand the driver, one of those 5 is the driver of a senior officer. And this senior officer has been interfering. He is trying to pervert the course of justice by bullying the people who were assigned to this process of having these disciplinary matters investigated and tried. He is bullying them not to charge the person who is driving him. That is what is being alleged. And I'm going to call his name. Let him continue to interfere with the matter, and I'm going to out him. When I say out him, I'm going to tag the story. Because it's unfair. Even the 4 ranks, I understand, who are charged, are asking what happened to the 5th man. Is all we involved in this thing? The DPP said all of us must be charged. And here it is, this senior officer is interfering to protect a driver who they said driving him. That is what is going on. The DPP, listen to this carefully, the DPP instructed for disciplinary action to be taken against 5 ranks. They have taken disciplinary action against 4. And the senior officer is preventing them from taking action against the 5th person who is his driver. And remember, the complaints authority made the point about people not being interdicted even though they are charged. I said that when I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission, I had cause to do a research, and I discovered that in most of the cases where the DPP recommend disciplinary action against ranks, nothing happens. In most of the cases when the Police Complaints Authority, having investigated complaints, recommend action against disciplinary action against rank, nothing happens. Nothing. I had cause to do the investigation or the review, the analysis myself, and the evidence is there. The evidence is there. So by next week, I'm gonna try to do my little digging. Let them let this senior officer continue to interfere with the process. Let him continue to interfere. One wonders why they force in such disarray. The DPP instructed disciplinary action. Why would you, the senior officer, want to get involved and try to prevent the process from going forward? Why? And again, you get his squatter sits there. He's sailing. He ain't got a clue what's going on. People doing all sort of things below him, and he does nothing. He doesn't have a clue what is going on. He does not have a clue, and that's the man what they want to confirm as the commissioner of police. There's a tape I was hoping to get it to play today. I'm going to see if I can get it Monday when we can deal with traffic issue. Yesterday, President had one of those impromptu meetings and call on the acting commissioner to say something. Oh my God, if you hear nonsense, nonsenseness. President was talking about traffic, and the president and all, a lot of nonsenseness. I don't want to read what they in the newspaper, even though I have it here. I want to play the tape. It's about 4.5 minutes to 5 minutes long. I'm going to get it, and Monday, I promise God spare life, Monday, I'm going to play it so you can hear for yourself what transpired. What transpired? We got this new offense they get a new offense there. I'm going to call it up a little later. It escapes me now. Drinking under the influence or some nonsense like that. Some new offense they create. President telling people yesterday that they're going to equip the traffic ranks with body cameras to deal with speeding trucks. So they must go and start in the middle of the road with a body camera for dealing with speeding trucks. Is that type of nonsense going on in the place? All kind of craziness. I'm going to deal with it, folks, on Monday. God's spare life. I get the tape, but I ain't get it to upload it and the thing as yet. I promise you, I'm going to attempt to get it uploaded over the weekend so that Monday I can play it for you to see it, for you to hear it yourself. And then you're going to realize when we talk about incompetence, you're going to see what incompetence really is. Among the things, let me tell you, to whet your appetite, when the president called the traffic chief and asked him how many traffic tickets were issued on the Heroes Highway, the man said they issued 800 and something for the year. And I had to do the little calculation. Me, I'm no mathematician, me, I'm no math wizards, but 800 and something traffic tickets a year is about less than 3 a day. It's less than 3, and one wonders, therefore, where the problem, why all the problem? And the man proud to say 896 or 800 and some number he called traffic tickets issued for the year. For the year. Less than 3 a day. And they take it and they run away with it. Let me ask Mr. Kamil if you want to say anything on this award to the Baccus family. Then we're going to move on to our next award. CCA, you want to say anything more than that?
Well, I wouldn't say, because they might say right now I'm drinking under the influence of alcohol. So I don't want to be accused of drinking under the influence of alcohol.
Yes, Smithy. Smithy said, look, Smithy put it up here. Smithy said there's 893 traffic tickets on the Heroes Highway for the year. 893. Y'all do the maths. How many days we have had in this year so far? 300 plus. 300 plus. Somebody do the maths, it's less than 3 traffic tickets a day they're issuing. That's what they're saying. And they say these things, and because people don't analyze it, they think that they're going to get away with it. What were you talking about? 893 traffic tickets in how many 300 and something days? All them should pack up and go home, and then we gonna delve into it on Monday. For they ask them to tell us how many of those tickets were paid, and how many of them, if they're not paid, trials were held, ex parte trials, and so on. We're gonna go into it. Left that for Monday though. Today's anniversary. We're not gonna go into that today. Today's anniversary. Now the other matter that I want to talk about here is, again, we saw last week, and this is Village Voice. The state ordered to pay $1.2 million to David Patterson for police unlawful detention. Let me read what the article says. It's not all along. Let me read it, and then we're going to analyze again. In a legal victory for Member of Parliament David Patterson, the chairman of the Alliance for Change, the High Court has ruled that the Guyana Police Force unlawfully prevented him from leaving the country more than a year ago. The court awarded Mr. Patterson $1.2 million. The case stemmed from an incident in September 2023 when Patterson, who was at the time facing charges of indecent exposure, left Guyana, was leaving Guyana to attend a meeting with American congressmen. The meeting was to discuss the political and economic climate in our nation. Patterson, who had served as Minister of Public Infrastructure under the Partnership for National Unity Alliance of Change coalition government, had been on court bail for the incident, for the indecent exposure charge at the time. According to Patterson's lawyer, Nigel Hughes, the Chief Justice of the High Court, Roxanne George Wiltshire SC, ruled that the Guyana Police Force's action were unlawful. As a result, the court ordered the state to pay $1.2 million in damages to Patterson. In addition, the state was also instructed to cover costs, $250,000 in legal fees for Patterson's counsel. The ruling came after a lengthy legal battle, during which Patterson contended that his rights had been violated by the Guyana Police Force's decision to block his travel. The incident in question took place at the Chedijagan International Airport, where Patterson was stopped from boarding his flight to the United States. The police argued that his travel restrictions were tied to the ongoing criminal case against him. However, Patterson maintained that the real motive behind the move was political in nature, an assertion that reinforced throughout the proceedings, an assertion he reinforced throughout these proceedings. Patterson, who has often been a target of verbal attack from the members of the ruling People's Progressive Party, including derogatory remarks by General Secretary Barjagyu, maintained that the state's action were designed to hinder its political activities. The PPP had frequently disparaged Patterson, referring to him with inflammatory labels. In response to the court's decision, Patterson expresses expectation that the government will seek to appeal the ruling. Then they get a background. Let me get a background to the case before they bring in Mr. Conway. They had this meeting with some opposition persons and so on in Washington, D.C., with U.S. congressmen and so on. Mr. Patterson was one of the persons listed to go there to meet and to speak with them. He arrived at the Chedijagan International Airport. He cleared the airline. He went to immigration. He cleared the immigration, and he went into the departure lounge. Later on, while waiting there, they came, and then they took him back, and they told him that there was something in the system to say that he should not travel. Of course, he protested, and they prevented him from traveling on that day. Later on, it is said that the chief immigration officer, who incidentally is the commissioner of police, the extended quarter, by law, apologized. I think they apologized and they said it was some mistake and all of that. And David Patterson quite rightly did not accept the apology. He went to court. Court awarded $1.2 million. Yet another case, I believe, of the amount being too small. But hear this. I know, and let me say this because I have an experience to relate to you with me and the same immigration people on Sunday. The immigration department of the Guyana Police Force and of Guyana is one of the agencies that you can be proud of. Let me say this clearly. The ranks in the immigration department, they are so courteous and professional, you can be proud of them. The issue they had not so long ago with passports, and so it's not their doing. Under the coalition government, that thing was so streamlined, the acquisition of a passport, that you could have gone in a morning, and if you had the resources, you can get your passport the same day. Nothing corrupt about it. That was approved. We had an expedited process. You paid something more, you get your passport the same day. If you wanted to wait, I think they give you 5 working days. So if you apply a Monday, they tell you come back Friday or the next Monday, and you got your passport. There was no issue, no hassle. All of a sudden, a few months back, big problems in the system. Big problems. And I'm saying those ranks are very, very efficient. And I said then that the fact that Mr. Patterson was allowed to pass immigration, after he came through the airline, checked in the airline, there's another desk, you go there, you check, and they make sure that your boarding pass and your passport is intact. Then you go to the immigration, you present your passport and the form, that immigration form that you have to sign. The fact that he was allowed to pass that point to go through security and enter the lounge means or meant that there was nothing in the system to prevent him from traveling, nothing. And anything that went into the system as a claim would have gone in there after he would have passed through that process. So when they don't check it and everything good, somebody call and tell them not to allow him to travel. Somebody instructed that he should not travel. Let me repeat that, because those people are so efficient that if, as they claim, something was in the system, Patterson would have never been allowed to pass that point to go to security and to go into the lounge. Having passed there, somehow they learned that he had gone through, and somebody called him and tell him stop you from traveling. Somebody call them at the immigration, tell him stop you from traveling. And that is what happened. And I come back to the point. Let me tell you, because this thing, they're doing their own thing. If you recall, in January, in December, I think it was, of 2022, right? The judge ruled, Justice Navinja Singh ruled that the police has no authority to blacklist anyone from leaving the country. It's a ruling in the Marshall in Washington versus the Attorney General. Washington was charged along with us for conspiracy to commit fraud. She was the finance officer of the police, and they wanted to stop her. She went to court, and the judge ruled, Justice Navinja Singh, that the police, even if you're charged with a criminal offense, the police cannot stop you from leaving the country. They can't stop you from moving anywhere in Guyana. They can't stop you from leaving the country. If they want you to be prevented, they have to go to the court and get an order. And especially in these cases, in Patterson's case, in Washington's case, the court, when they appeared, had granted them bail, and conditions weren't attached to the bail. And yet still they were preventing them from leaving. And the judge ruled in December of 2022, that the police can't do that. I know what they had said. Let me read quickly. Supreme Court Judge Navinja Singh has ruled that the Guyana Police Force does not have the authority to blacklist forces from leaving the jurisdiction. This landmark ruling stemmed from the constitutional challenge filed at the High Court by Police Finance Officer, woman senior superintendent acting Marshall in Washington, who is currently before the court on conspiracy charges for allegedly defrauding and falsifying food vouchers. The charges were indictable. She was represented by Dexter Todd, an associate, in the challenge filed against the Attorney General, the Minister of Affairs, and the Commissioner of Police. Washington sought a declaration that the deprivation of the freedom of movement by the Guyana Police Force breached our constitutional rights. Additionally, she sought an administrative order of mandamus directed to the Commissioner of Police, compelling him to remove our name from the blacklist at all ports of exit. She added that the inclusion of our name on such a list is capricious, vexatious, malicious, abuse of power, unconstitutional, unlawful, ultra-virus, and in excess of jurisdiction. In our court affidavit, Washington argued that she is a naturalized citizen of the United States of America and has to travel every 6 months to maintain her citizenship. She explained that she was charged in June 2021 and no court order was made to restrict her from leaving the jurisdiction since she did not pose a flight risk. However, Williams said, Washington, said she later received a letter from the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs through the Office of the Commissioner indicating that since she was criminal charged, she is now blacklisted from traveling beyond Guyana's borders. Justice Singh, in his ruling, found that the Guyana Police Force cannot restrict the movement of any person around or out of Guyana unless such restriction is provided for in the laws of Guyana or pursuant to an order of the court. In fact, he added that since the filing of these proceedings, the Bail Act of 2022 was passed and assented to, and the provisions therein, particularly Section 11, are most instructive. Section 11 makes it very clear that conditions, including conditions restricting a bailee, condition restricting a bail person's ability to travel, may be imposed by the court granting bail. The respondent in this case has denied that Washington is blacklisted from traveling beyond the borders of Guyana, but rather asserted that the Immigration Department of the Guyana Police Force would formulate an administrative list of all persons charged with an indictable offense. They contended that this is done as a protocol and guidance to the Immigration Department, and if such person attempts to travel at border points, those persons are usually advised to seek the permission of the court. Justice Singh, however, found that it was clear that the names of persons charged with an indictable offense are placed on a list. Whether it is called blacklist or an administrative list is wholly irrelevant. Additionally, the judge said that by creating such a list, the Guyana Police Force and or the respondents have determined that the law authorizes them to limit the movement of such persons solely because they have been charged with indictable offenses. And so the judge made it clear that no such authority is reposed in the Guyana Police Force under any written law in Guyana, and they only misconstrued themselves. Now, once this decision was handed down, they usually verbose attorney general said they were going to appeal. And maybe they have appealed, I don't know. But there was no stay on this order. There was no stay on this order, which means that the order is enforced until it is overturned by some other court. So they can't stop you from leaving. They said once you're charged indictable, they put you on the list. So what happens when the indictable charge, when you're charged indictable, as in our case, and in the same Washington case, and they ask for summary disposal. They ask for the matter to be disposed of summarily under the Administration of Justice Act. What happens? What happens? It is unlawful. And they're still doing it. I tell them they are still doing it, notwithstanding what the court has said, they're still doing it. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then I'm going to explain what I mean by that. CC, your views on this thing with Mr. Patterson and what I've just read.
Paul, you're so correct, It's only the court could pass the order. The Constitution, going back to the Constitution again, the Constitution talks about the protection of fundamental rights and freedom of the individual. Articles 138 to 154. And let me read Article 148. Here it's Paul. No person shall be deprived of his or her freedom of movement. That is to say, the right to move freely throughout Guyana, the right to reside in any part of Guyana, the right to enter Guyana, and here's one, the right to leave Guyana, and immunity from expulsion from Guyana. I'm going over for the sake of emphasis. Article 148. No person shall be deprived of his or her freedom of movement. That is to say, the right to move freely throughout Guyana, the right to reside in any part of Guyana, the right to enter Guyana, and the right to leave Guyana, and immunity from expulsion from Guyana. And it is clear, simple common sense is telling you that if they want to prevent you, they got to get a court order. No commissioner No commissioner can pass no warrant supposed to stop. If you do that, it is unconstitutional. And it is so in many Caribbean countries. I remember when I was studying in Jamaica, the commissioner, and I think was some chap named Thompson, and they used to put on what they called stop order, stopping people from leaving the island. And they stopped somebody and they took them to court, and the court ruled that the commissioner doesn't have the power. The power is with the court. Unless there's a court order, you can't stop anyone. And interestingly, I don't know if the thing has changed. In those days when I was there, the police weren't the immigration people. It was a government department running immigration. But getting back to Guyana, where is the court has got to pass the order? I remember years ago they had a controller person named Clarence Chu, and he had some matters before the court. His lawyer was Rex McKee, and they suspected that they had somebody that's preventing him. And Rex tell Clarence, hey, buy a ticket, say you're going to Trinidad, but you don't go nowhere, and see what happens. And Clarence bought a ticket, going to Trinidad. And when he went there, he married there, they stop him. They say he can't travel. He depend on stop order. And he filed constitutional matter against the government, and he won a whole set of money. The thing is so clear is that the court has got to pass the order. The Constitution gives you the right. As long as you have your proper documentation, you're free to leave this country. You're free to go and you're free to move about this country as you like. That is it. Only the court could prevent you, and they're abusing the system. And I agree with your earlier statement that you made earlier, Paul, that the immigration, one of the perhaps the better department, the Guyana Police Force, they're doing a fantastic work there. Although they have limited resources, they led by Jill, I think his name is. They're doing an excellent job there, and I wish to publicly use this opportunity to compliment them for the work they've been, and they're very courteous. Courtesy is the order of the day. People will leave that immigration department. They didn't get through, but they're satisfied. They feel pleased with the way the court treated the immigration treated them there. So going back to the point, I make the point, is only the court could stop you. No police can't stop you. If they do that, it is unconstitutional.
And I want to stop you. They can't put your name on no list. That is what the judge said. They can't have your name on no list. And I see somebody, one of the students says here, I don't know exactly what he is referring to, but he said comply, then complain. That don't work any longer. Comply and complain has been held to be unlawful in certain circumstances. You cannot be compelled to carry out an unlawful order. So this is an old military thing where you comply and complain. I had cause to remind the overface minister Gadras that some years ago when he was ordering me to return that firearm in Bobby's. So no, he told me that comply and complain. I said, no, it don't work. Your order is unlawful, and therefore I cannot be compelled to carry out an unlawful order. So let me understand this clearly. If the order is unlawful, you are within your right to resist carrying out that unlawful order. And then the next thing, somebody say, what happens to persons in terms of the same thing we're talking about, people preventing, what happens to people who are under government contract? Now, this is a different thing altogether. Here we're talking about people who they say are charged with indictable offense. They have this list to prevent you from leaving. And the court is saying, no, such a list is unlawful. You can't. So it's a different thing we're talking about. I don't know if they call it bonded student, where you're obligated to the government, and therefore they might you might have to get permission from them to leave. That is a different thing. But let me tell you the other part to what I just mentioned. And before I go into it, let me encourage you to continue to share. We have a large number. Continue to share. And don't forget the note that is scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. Today is a special day. Today is the 3rd anniversary. More of you might want to feel generous and make a donation towards the program. So you're free to do so. But let me go on. This same matter, we're coming out to another issue, the experience that I had. Now, as I indicated earlier, Conway, myself, Mr. Whitaker, retired Assistant Commissioner, retired Senior Superintendent George Fraser, retired Superintendent Mark Gilbert, same Marcin Washington, Royston Jr., and other people were charged in 2021 with conspiracy to commit fraud. That is based on a standing order review we were asked to do. I appeared in court on the 15th of October 2021 because I was abroad when this thing happened. Nobody ever asked me anything, so I returned voluntarily. I appeared in court. The charge was indictable, or when I got there, 4 charges. They were indictable. I was not required to plead. The magistrate set bail, $100,000 on one, $75,000 on the others. I posted bail. No conditions were attached to the bail. I am granted bail. I am free to move. All right. I was working in the Caribbean, and I had to go to work shortly after. I can't remember which island I was working in. I had a discussion with my lawyer, Mr. Hughes, and I said, these people wicked. Despite the fact that the court has not placed any restriction on my movement. In other words, they didn't say left your passport, they didn't say nothing. I said, these people might want to stop me from leaving the country. So therefore, I am, let's go to the High Court and get permission to leave. Let's play it safe. The lawyer listened to me, he said, yes, that makes sense. So we filed an application for permission to me to leave the jurisdiction. The matter came up before the acting Chief Justice, Madam Roxanne George. The Attorney General, Anil Nandlal, SC, MP, appeared, I think it was virtual, but he appeared himself to oppose the application I made. In other words, he appeared to say I should not be allowed to travel. He raised all sorts of arguments and so on. Mr. Hughes adequately dealt with those arguments. Eventually, the court in December 2021, the Chief Justice ruled that I can be allowed to leave with some restrictions. I got to left transport. I got to get an affidavit from the person who bailed me to say they have no objection to me leaving the jurisdiction. And I had to come back by a particular time. I think it was the 6th of January or something like that. I left. I left transport. I get the affidavit. Everything that was required, I got. I left the country. I returned as ordered by the court. I went, I collect back my documents and all sort of things. I had to leave again to go and work. I made a second application to leave. The application came up before Justice Navinja Singh. Again, the Attorney General's chambers objected to my leaving the country to go and work. Having listened to the argument, the judge granted me permission to leave. Justice Navinja Singh said, I can leave and come back again by a certain time. I did that. I left, I returned as instructed by the court. I had to leave a third time to go and work. Listen to me carefully. I had to leave a third time. And on the third occasion, there was no objection. And the judge then issued an order, what we call an open-ended order, allowing me to leave the country whenever I want to. So I left and I traveled in and out, costing me money all the time, That money, that's what they want to do. They want to ruin you financially. All right. Now, that was in 2021. The last time was in 2022. Justice Navinja Singh, I have the order. Last Sunday gone, I am leaving Guyana. I checked out from I go airline check. Everything all right. I got to the immigration, filled up my form. The two guys, young immigration officers there, checked my passport, checked the documents. Then I saw there was some hesitation. Then he asked me if I am bonded. So I said, no, I'm not bonded. He called a supervisor, female supervisor. The supervisor came, and then the supervisor asked me if I got any written permission to leave the country. So I asked her, I said, why would I need a written permission to leave the country? Then she told me there's something in the system that I must present written commission. I was saying the judge ruled way back that in 2022, that this thing about people name being placed in this system to prevent them from traveling is unconstitutional, illegal. And Sunday gone, immigration people telling me that something in the system that I got to show permission to leave. I got to show them that I have an order to leave the country. And according to what the judge said, that is not so. If they want you not to leave, they are the ones who have to go to court and get an order for you not to leave. Anyhow, again, I talk about the courtesy of the people at the immigration. They were very, very courteous. The sergeant there who was in charge, he was called, he came, very nice, asked me, I said, I explained to him, I said, look, Sarge, just the way I explained just now, I went to court, the Chief Justice granted me permission, Justice Singh granted me permission on 2 occasions. On the last occasion, it's open, and they said, look, normally I would have a copy of this order, but I don't have it here. They buy in Quindon now. He calling them to get instructions and so on. I said, look, let me look on my computer, see if I can find this thing. He even offered me somewhere to sit. I sat, I went through, eventually, I went into the email on my computer and found the document. So I called you, I said, look, come, I'll find it. Look the order from the court in sometime in 2022. He read it, he took pictures of it, and then he tell me thanks. He go again, he call them, maybe tongue whoever he calling. And eventually, then he came, and of course, he very courteous and said, look, I can go. It took about 1 hour. I had to sit there and go through all of that embarrassment, all that, for 1 hour. But let me say this. I have since sent a note to my lawyer, and I intend to follow it up with my lawyers because they're not allowing that to go so. It is contradictory to what the court has ruled. The court made it clear that they have no authority to stop anyone from leaving the country, even though that person is charged with an indictable offense, unless the court so orders. That's an order of the court. And yet still the chief immigration officer, the commissioner of police, 2 years down the road, they still got this list telling you what you're up on the system and you can't travel. In clear violation of the order of the court. So we're going to make it a test case. We are going to make it a test case. We're going to go back to the court for dealing with it. I intend to sue the chief immigration officer and the attorney general for the violation of my constitutional right. So I'm telling you all, this nonsense must stop. They must stop violating people's rights. And one of the reasons why they can continue to do that, because they're not held personally responsible. In the case of Quindon Baccus estate, is the state got to pay, we taxpayers got to pay. In the case of David Patterson, the $1.2 million, is we got to pay, taxpayers. And they sit there, people like Iken, who should have gone home a long time now, looking after grandchildren or doing something. He is there violating the rights of people. He is the chief immigration officer. He is the one who is causing that list, that unlawful list, to be maintained. What they say about something on the system. He is the one. But when the time comes, if and when any damages is awarded, is the state got to pay. Not even though Nandalal lamented some time ago that with all of these lawsuits, the government got to pay out a set of money for the wrongful action of the policemen and so on. What is he doing about it? What is he doing about it? The vice president jumped on one of his programs there the other day and said that the fact that the commissioner acting took $8.5 million from a businessman in his office, it is reprehensible. He repeated the word twice, reprehensible. What have they done about it? Nothing. They haven't done anything. So this man who committed this reprehensible act in his office sits there. Yesterday I see he's sitting alongside the president in this fiasco they had for a release on the traffic situation. So I am saying, they're trying desperately to put me on my knees. And I tell you all over and over, anytime I go down on my knees, I go down for pray for them. And the prayers are being answered. Ask CB 252. The prayers are being answered. Ask the motorcycle CB 252 about the prayers. Ask him about the prayers. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to close and so on. CC, your views, I just related my experience and the experience of Mr. Patterson. What are your views, my brother?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's enshrined in the Constitution. And it's talking about the protection of freedom of movement, that you can't willy-nilly prevent me from leaving the country or moving about in the country. You can't do that. And I agree with you. Take it up. Take it up. Don't allow them to do things and get away with it. the protection of freedom of movement is enshrined in the Constitution, Article 148. The police could read it, They don't let them read it now. They're reading WhatsApp, they're reading TikTok, they're reading Facebook, they're reading all kind of thing there, but they're not reading the law. They're not reading the law. They're not reading books on law enforcement, but they're doing a lot of reading. They're up on social media and they're reading. So read Article 138, 148. It's there. And Article 141, 138 to 154. We talk about the fundamental rights of the individual. It's there. And they must be allowed to violate the rights. And in closing, I still got to go back to Barbies. Barbies is my hometown. I want to know when the police going to refund those Amerindian recruits that they get training at Adventure. They have to purchase the boots that they're wearing or the shoe that they're wearing from a corporal for $7,000. I'm talking about those policemen at that Adventure. They're recruits there. And right now they're doing Christmas policing in New Amsterdam. But only thing, they don't get cap anymore. They're wearing berets and they're not wearing the plastic belt. They're wearing a canvas belt. A canvas belt, a beret, no what perhaps all the stuff, all the hundreds of millions of stuff that they purchased for the quartermaster store, maybe they're not there. So I'm asking when they're gonna reimburse the Amerindian and other recruits that are training at Adventure that have to purchase boots, footwear from a corporal who's stationed in Georgetown, in Ivlery. I know your name. I get your photograph. I get the cell number. Everything. When they're gonna refund the money to those poor Amerindians. And apart from that too, interestingly, somebody called me and asked me from quarantine. I still have my contacts here as a former commando, contacts with the civilian. They say, CC, how come the Ghana police force recruiting and training Venezuelans at Adventure? How come they're recruiting and training Venezuelans at Adventure? Perhaps they take the Amerindians there for Venezuelans.
Yes. Thank you, my brother. Well, I will close off. I alluded to all this. I mentioned this morning that Mr. Assistant Commissioner Attorney at Law Calvin Brutus, he appeared in court this morning, slapped with 21 more charges involving $101 million. Hear what the King Brief is saying. The release said Brutus, some police sergeant and a businessman also facing charges. Assistant Commissioner of Police and Attorney at Law Calvin Brutus, Lethem businessman Corwin Nicholson, and Police Sergeant Latoya Brummel were slapped with seven charges for offense of conspiracy to commit a felony, obtaining money by false pretense. They appeared at the Georgetown Magistrate Court this morning before the acting chief magistrate. It was alleged that between December 1, 2023 and January 31st, 2024, they obtained $101,437,050 from the Guyana Police Force headquarters for goods that were not delivered. They were not required to enter a plea to the indictable charge. Bail was set in the sum of $700,000 for each of them. In addition, Brutus was charged separately with 7 counts of misconduct in public office contrary to common law. The charges allege that between the dates mentioned above, at police headquarters while performing duties as Deputy Commissioner of Administration, he willfully misconducted himself by instructing the police finance officer to prepare seven banks of Guyana checks totaling $101,437.50, $437.50, instructed payable to Corwin Nicholson of 3D Construction for the supply of boots, pointed stars, and cuff casings, uniform cloth, among other items, knowing that the items were not supplied or delivered to the force without any reasonable justification. Further, Brutus was slapped with 7 counts of the offense of liability of an officer. The particulars of charges state that between the aforementioned dates, he made the opportunity for Nicholson to defraud the state of Guyana totaling $101,437. On the 7th charges for misconduct in public office, Brutus was ordered to post bail of $350,000 each. In relation to the 7 counts of liability of an officer, he was ordered to pay another $350,000. Brutus' total bail was $1.4 million. Then they go on to say he had additional charges and all that. So he appeared this morning, 21 other charges, and as we said, up to now, he has not been interdicted from duty. Up to now, he has not been interdicted. So this is a man now facing 252. That motorcycle, CB252. CB252. And perhaps the number got changed because I know that the serial numbers of these vehicles in Guyana increasing rapidly. They're increasing rapidly. But man is still there. And I ask the question, what is keeping the Police Service Commission from interdicting him? He was charged first on the 24th day of October. This is about a month ago. He charged. His driver, a sergeant, who has to be interdicted by the extended squatter, the commissioner who sits there in the office. Up to now, he ain't interdicted too. And again, I say the Police Complaints Authority in its report to Parliament and the President of 2023 rather, made the report. They complained that ranks are charged and not being interdicted. Ranks in the force are charged criminally and not being interdicted. And here you have evidence to support what the Complaints Authority stated. Evidence to support that. And I say again, I'll say again that this whole thing is very, very worrying. I'm going to talk about it. I don't talk about it, because you have a man facing all these charges, a man who has displayed certain worrying tendencies, a man who no doubt is under tremendous stress. He himself, let me read what he says as I close off this morning. He himself, in the matter where he sued the government, not the government, he sued all other people. He sued, he sued 12 people. Assistant Commissioner Karim Bash from Soku, Budram from Admin, Watts from Operations, Superintendent Mahadio Singh from Soku, Bharat Prasad from Finance Office, Special Deputy Superintendent Frank Harvey from Soku, Inspector Troy Scott from Soku, Inspector Krishnadat Singh from Soku, Inspector Lingard Walcott from Quartermaster Stores, Inspector Mark George from Soku, and Sergeant Naindra Bariram from Soku, in addition to Attorney General. He sued all of them recently, demanding $400 million. And what he says, he's suing them for loss of access to bank accounts held by the clients in his personal and his company's name, Kaitas General Contracted and Holdings, estimated. The loss, he said, estimated at $80 million. He's suing them for the loss of ability to pay doctoral tuition to the National American University, and that cost is estimated to be $3 million. Loss of office by dispatch on administration, I know what I mean, from 22nd of October to the value to be determined. Then he says, loss of reputation, self-esteem, self-worth, value to be determined. And then here, this worrying part, I warning them, let them don't listen. He's suffering from post-traumatic stress, anxiety, loss of sleep, emotional distress, and anxiety, and the value to be determined. Loss of income and earning in private capacity through loss of business, reputation, and credibility, with a stain of money laundering in both personal and as the sole director of this and shareholder of Kaitas General Contracting Holdings, estimated at $25 million per month and counting. The man said that the business Kaitas that he had, that he still has, the fact that they do what they do, he's losing $25 million a month. I tell you all, the police work got to be the side hustle. Because the police work account to what they're saying, paying like about $2,000 $500 US a month. But here it is, he's saying that he's using $25 million a month on the business. He is dealing, that's what he's saying. And the man said that this thing causing post-traumatic stress, anxiety, loss of sleep, emotional distress, and anxiety. And the value to that to be determined. And they get this man walking around this place. He's neighbor to, I understand he's neighbor to Budram, and he's neighbor to Karimbash. Are you carry on? I remember not so long ago, around 1989, some people said a good time ago, a police officer, people tell him he's in Grenada, had some issue. The man go in a meeting where they're there, and the man shoot up and kill a whole set of people. Yeah, sit back. The man, in my estimation, based on all that has been said and done, appears to be a threat to himself, a threat to his family, a threat to all these people he named in this lawsuit, and a threat to all others around him. Y'all carry on smartly, as they say. Carry on smartly. The signs are there. When I saw the signs and I spoke to the president about it, they came after me. The Chief Justice said that the man is self-serving. Chief Justice said so. They came after me, trumped up charges, tried to get me off the Police Service Commission because, of the, according to the president, we weren't promoting his people. That is what he said, his people. Now it's his people in this here now. His people. CB 240, 252 is his people. Folks, we had a lot more to talk about this matter. Time has run out. As I said, we ain't done. There's no done as you like. No done as you like. We're going to continue to highlight. And again, I want to thank you guys for all the sentiments on the 3rd anniversary of Speaking Out. And you are inspiring us to continue to come here at least twice a week and to bring you the credible and valuable information. You got to make sure you get the information. All we ask you to come and do your thing. Like giving me thumbs up. Those of you who are in a position to give me a little top up so that we can keep the program going, you do that. And again, I thank all those who have been making contributions along the way. Folks, I think we've had a good anniversary program. We're going to follow up more on this additional 21 charges. And Monday, no doubt, we're going to talk about the traffic situation. We're going to talk more about this 21 charges because I see one of them so-called journalists write a lot of stupidness in the social media. I'm going to deal with that on Monday. So until then, again, I urge you all to be careful, take care, and God's spare life. We'll see you again here on Monday for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, stay well. Bye.